kindness. That was the Martin we know and loved, and he loved us in return. He was that rare individual who could leave work at work, and when he was home, he gave us his full attention. And because of this, we knew little bits and pieces of what his other life was like, and we could only imagine what his achievements were. So today, I'm going to share a little bit with you. And Martin never threw things away. And as I was going through photos and souvenirs this week, I found a treasure trove of his life, and I'm going to share those with you. As was mentioned, my Uncle Martin was born to John Martin Gaither and Beatrice Chaussee Gaither. And he was a junior, and that is a name that a title he didn't use as an adult. But he was born on October 18th, 1919, and he would have been 97 years old on Tuesday. I have one of the things I found, and I'm sorry you're so far away you can't see this. This is a receipt of payment to the hospital for his birth, to the St. Francis Hospital in Litchfield, Illinois, for the amount of $43.30, signed by his father. When Martin was 19 years old, I have his first recorded log of his flights. And this is a pilot log, and it began in 1939. He flew out of Charlotte. He flew a Piper Cub for 15 minutes. And from there, he worked with flying, and when he was 22 years old, he enlisted in the Army Air Force. And he entered the Aviation Cadet Program. And I have an invitation to attend his graduation. Army Air Force's Training Center announces the graduation of Class 43F Turner Field on Wednesday, June the 13th, 1943, Albany, Georgia. And during this time, this is where he met Clara. And she was working at the Augusta Arsenal in Augusta, Georgia. And he, again, was stationed at Turner Field in Albany. And they would get together whenever he was furloughed. His first big adventure in flying was the China-Burma India Theater in 1944-1945. He flew 39 combat missions in a B-24 as a pilot. I have a picture of the Taj Mahal that he took when he was involved in this. From that, he did much more training, and that experience led him to become training squadron commander at Williams Field in Arizona. And it was in Arizona that he married my Aunt Clara on December 20th, 1946. And I have a picture of, they would go to clubs at night, and a lot of souvenir photos. This is the Silver Spur from Phoenix, Arizona. And they're with another couple. And I know it's too small for you to see, but Martin's sitting right here, and he wrote, "This week in Phoenix, lots of fun. Well, I reckon I'll never forget. Love you, Martin." In 1948, he was transferred to Germany for 3 years, and there he flew the Berlin airlift. The people in Berlin were isolated and they had no heat, so his job was to fly coal into Berlin. And living in Europe for 3 years, my Aunt Clara and Uncle Martin had a lot of wonderful experiences traveling to Paris, Venice, Madrid. They drove everywhere, and I have thousands of pictures, but they're all about this big, so you wouldn't be able to see anything in those. From that, he became the air evacuation pilot and squadron commander at Kelly Field, Texas. And then it was his first time in the Strategic Air Command as base director of operations at Thule Air Force Base in Greenland. And I have a picture of several officers dressed in their coats lined with fur, lots of ice and snow in Thule. He later commanded air refueling squadrons in Plattsburgh, Peace, New Hampshire, and McCoy Air Base in Florida. And here's a picture of his job was refueling, and this is the boom connecting the two planes, and so he would pilot this plane as it refueled the lower plane. In Florida, he moved up to the 306th Bomb Wing as Deputy Commander for Operations and achieved the rank of full colonel in 1967. He qualified in both the B-52 and the KC-135. In fact, he flew more than 192 hours in the Stratotanker. He also completed a special staff officer indoctrination for the SR-71. And this is his certificate for the certification in the SR-71. Now, Martin was a modest man, and he wouldn't dream of sharing this information with you, but during his career, he also flew the B-17, B-25, P-51, P-80, C-47, C-54, and the KC-97. Now, his quest for performance was so great that he earned many medals, and one of them was the Distinguished Flying Cross. And here is one of the Distinguished Flying Cross. And he earned the Air Force Medal with 1 oak, and he earned the Air Medal with 5 oaks. And this is the Air Medal. Whoops. They're getting a little old and not as well preserved. He also earned, and this was something new, he also earned a Small Arms Expert Marksman ribbon. He retired as Vice Commander for Operations. He retired in 1973. And at that time, he was Vice Commander for Operations at McCoy Air Force Base in Florida. And this is the flag he was given, and it was flown over the base that day. He retired March 1st, 1973. In one of his reviews, Alan C. Edmonds, Brigadier General, wrote his strengths: an exceptional manager, tireless worker, and highly skilled leader, outstanding initiative, a unique ability to grasp the fundamentals in a complex issue and to provide clear solutions, absolute integrity and complete dedication to his job, a cool head in a crisis. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that these qualities were innate in him, and he carried these throughout his life in all that he did. Now I'm going to just take a minute, hopefully not too long, and tell you as a child growing up with Aunt Clara and Uncle Martin, they traveled a lot, so we didn't get to see them very often, but when we did, it was always very special. And we saw the Alamo in San Antonio and the San Antonio Zoo, Savannah. Uncle Martin showed me how to hold a golf club and keep my head down, and Aunt Clara taught me to kiss each shoulder as I made my swing. I mastered the swing, but I have never mastered getting that ball in that little hole. Uncle Martin loved music. Frank Sinatra, Al Hirt, and he loved the big bands. And occasionally he would have an assignment to fly out to California, and we'd turn on the music. He'd visit us, we'd turn on the music, and he would dance with my mom and me. He was very sentimental. And as we were entering, I hope you heard As Time Goes By, that was he and my Aunt Clara's favorite song. It brought back many memories for him every time he heard it. And when Aunt Clara and Uncle Martin retired to Gainesville, they began a ritual every Saturday morning of calling my mother, and they would talk on the phone. Aunt Clara and Uncle Martin were on a party line, and so they'd have kind of a conference call. And they would catch up on family matters and bridge and golf. And we'd find out how many pars he had made that week and how many birdies. And after my aunt passed away, Martin continued calling my mom. They would alternate weekends, and so they continued sharing family things. And when my mom passed away, Uncle Martin started calling me at 10 minutes after 8 every Saturday morning. And if he did not call me, I was on that phone calling him. So I really owe it to him, and I'm so grateful for keeping our family together through those phone calls. My husband Ron and I have so enjoyed visiting Uncle Martin, and we really loved meeting Sally and enjoyed her energy, and it's so much fun that they had together. They were really a great couple, and they had a wonderful life, visiting North Carolina and Florida and celebrating holidays and birthdays and getting together with friends. Martin was a man among men, a true gentleman, kind, honest, and devoted. I'm so proud to have been his niece. And next, Dick Smith is going to say a few words.